My name is Sandra Metz. I live in Athens, Georgia. I worked as a poll worker on November 3rd, 2020 at 1B polling precinct. My job that day was to work the polling pads. What polling pads are, they look like an iPad, which is what they are, an iPad. And the voters come in the door and they would hand me their driver's license. And I would scan the bar and back and it would tell them if everything was okay, I could issue them a green card. You proceed to the voting stations. You insert the green card in to vote. So when you put the green card in, a blank ballot comes up. You choose for whom you want to vote. When you're done, you click print. It prints your vote off on the printer next to the voting machine. You pull your green card out, you take your vote, you walk over to the scanner, you put your vote into the scanner, and you hand the ladies the green card. Each polling pad was keeping up with their individual people that they checked in. So if I checked in 50 people, my polling pad would say 50. There are two other people working other polling pads, and like the girl next to me may have had 20, and the woman next to her may have had 14. None of the numbers matched up because it's just recording the ones we checked in. Every hour, our manager would come by and would ask us, what count does your polling pad say? And so there's up in the upper left-hand corner, I could read and see how many people I checked in, and I told the manager that my number, so each person did that. And she'd take all of our numbers, add them together. Then she'd walk around the corner to where the big scanner was, and the scanner has an electronic screen on it where you can look at it and see how many pieces of paper it has taken and how many ballots have been processed through. In the ideal world, the numbers on the polling pads or the iPads where voters check in, that number is supposed to match identically to the number of pieces of paper, the number of votes that have been scanned through the scanner. Our manager found that those numbers didn't match from the very beginning, pretty much first thing in the morning. Then some point in time, the young lady sitting next to me holds up a green card and goes, "Hey, don't use this one again." A voter came back to me and said it read out on the voting machine that it had already been used. And so we stuck it in a place where we wouldn't pick it up again. And I didn't think about it again until about lunchtime. And the manager was checking the numbers again. And officer or official from the City of Elections of Clark County walked in the door. Her first name was Renee. And we're discussing the fact that the numbers on the polling pads didn't match the numbers on the scanner and possible reasons why. And that's when I picked up the green card and I said, apparently the young lady's been given out, because she said she'd done it more than once. So the young lady had given out more than one extra green card to a voter because a voter indicated to her that the card had already been used. So that's when Renee told us that each of those voting pads, the iPads, was supposed to be communicating with each other. And what that means is that they needed to communicate so that could not happen. So somebody could not get issued 2 green cards or 3 green cards or more than one. Nobody's supposed to get more than one. So in other words, if Bob came in and I checked Bob in, if Bob went over and his green card didn't supposedly work, if he came back to the young lady sitting next to me and asked for another one, when she scanned his ID again, it would put his screen up saying this voter's already voted. In other words, it keeps people from voting more than one time. But because our polling pads were not communicating, they did not have the ability to tell us if somebody had already voted with a green card that day in our precinct. And that's why the numbers were not adding up. So I'm concerned about people voting more than once, and they're not being matching numbers of votes in the scanners. Because if those people voted more than once, there should have been an equal number in the scanner. So I'm like, why is that? You might be asking yourself, who would vote twice? Well, I actually had a woman come in, and when I scanned her driver's license, it says she received an absentee ballot. And I told her that she'd have to sign a form saying she would like to not count that vote but make her vote in person count. They wanted to destroy the absentee ballot and make her vote in person count. Well, she looks me dead in the eye and goes, "Oh, I got 2 absentee ballots and I voted on both of them, sent them back in. I was just going to see if I could vote again." So I got up and immediately reported that to my manager, who just stared at me. The woman was sitting there waiting for her friend to vote. The manager said nothing to the woman and just stared at her. So yes, there are people that will vote more than once and see if they can get away with it.